Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday. Welcome back to Recall Knowledge presents Outlaws of Alkenstar, a show where Pathfinder enthusiasts play through your favorite adventure paths. I'm your GM, Steve, and I'm joined by Ricardo, Richard, Ninna, and Tommy. Go ahead, everyone. Say howdy, Outlaws.
Howdy, Outlaws.
Howdy.
I'm just waiting for Nina to say something that sends me falling out laughing, but it didn't happen this time, and now I feel like something is missing in my life.
Howdy!
There it is! Shit, that's all I needed!
I was yelling! I was rubbing my
We're
lungs!
back.
Oh no, I'm thinking that out of my vocabulary. I forgot.
Well-oiled machine. Everyone joining us for the first time, welcome. And everyone who's been with us before, welcome back. We're happy you're with us again. It's going about as well as you expect. We haven't played Pathfinder in 35 days, everyone.
Fuck.
Foundry tells you the last time you made a roll, and it was 35 days ago, essentially. So kind of crazy. We've been dealing with a lot of like illness in the cast. We had some planned time off for family stuff. Work's been getting crazy. We didn't play at all in the month of February, but we're back in March and we're coming strong.
Time is a construct.
Yeah. Time loop, time dogs. Anyway, we left off neck deep in the Cradle of Quartz. I was hoping we were going to finish the Cradle of Quartz last month. We never quite got to. It's been this like long stretched out cliffhanger hanging for like a long time. So we left off neck deep. We're fighting the time dog, or we're sacrificing Kosowana so we don't have to fight the time dog. We're going to find out. Let's see. So let's go through announcements so we can get playing. And that being said, our first announcement for the night is that this episode is once again sponsored by none other than Molten
Shitty Toms,
Hosting.
God damn it.
They're so
Gotcha.
hot. So hot.
So
Gotcha.
hot.
Are they hot? I don't
Not
remember.
cold.
So it's been a while since we played. I know I said that. I'm looking at the script. I wrote this copy for our sponsor bit a month ago when we were supposed to play, and I thought,
No context. We just go for it.
Yeah, it's still February. Valentine's Day was yesterday, Steven.
perfect. Everyone go to the part of the script that says sponsor bit, and we're off. In honor of Valentine's Day, we wanted to take a minute to thank Molten Hosting for their awesome support of our show throughout this campaign. We fell in love with their service before we even started streaming the show, and our love and commitment has only grown in the years since. To show you, Molten Hosting, just how special you are to us, we all wanted to write a special Valentine poem to show just how much we care. I have so much love in my heart. I don't tell my wife, but it might be more love for Molten Hosting than my wife.
She's not a subscriber, is she?
She is not a subscriber. Also, I'll start us off with this like love from my heart, and you guys can follow with your own special poems that you wrote. So, Molten Hosting is red, violets are blue. Thanks for your cloud hosting and your nightly backups too. Yeah. See, that wasn't so bad. I know you guys were really worried that this was going to be a terrible, terrible sort of like ad read, but it's not so bad, right?
I mean, why do I get the feeling they're going to get so much worse before we're done?
I have no idea what you're talking about. In fact, why don't we go ahead and why don't you read the poem that you wrote, Rick?
Okay, I'll read the poem that I wrote. I can't remember life before you. Well, all the horrors of self-hosting. Every time we play our games, I can't stop thinking Molten Hosting. You're a 2020 rapper.
Woo. That wasn't so bad. I mean, I was expecting way worse.
Speaking of expecting way worse, Ninna, why don't you go ahead and read us what you wrote?
Yeah. Okay. Here goes nothing. Some things still remind me of that night. The touch of silk on skin, an out-of-tune banjo, the distinct smell of leather. I don't know why you won't return my calls. Can't you see? We are destined to be together. The fuck?
Yeah, you.
And And just to clarify, these are 100% written by each cast member themselves. Certainly not a script being handed to them. Richard, why don't you go next?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I remember writing this poem like it was yesterday, because it was just yesterday, February 13th.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here goes nothing. It's not right to keep you to myself. I keep you caged up in the corner on my bookshelf. You deserve to spread your wings and be free. I know in the end, you'll come back to me. So use the code Recall Knowledge
It's one word.
One word.
at checkout.
One word.
Just one word. And be free for the whole month, my little red bird. No, I don't remember writing that at all.
You know, that could have been worse, man. I've definitely heard worse. Looks awkwardly at me.
That wasn't too bad. Speaking of getting at the absolute worst they could possibly be, Tommy, why don't you close this out with your poem?
Yeah, like I was gonna, but I was looking over briefly while everybody else went what you sent, and I think I could do better. So I'm not reading your garbage. I'm gonna throw this out. I have my own.
That was an option.
Okay.
I've been working on this for a while since y'all hooked me up with Molten Hosting, and it's made my job easier and stuff. I have a lot of big feelings that I've been working on independently.
No, I think it's better if we just stick.
No, shut the fuck up. No, I'm reading this. Here it goes. Love can mean many things. Here is what it means to me. It means showing up wherever you're needed. You're available in multiple cloud locations to service me. It means always having space, a place to put all of my God damn it, Steve.
Read it.
It's your script. You said I wrote this.
Yeah, you definitely didn't, and it's definitely February inside of you. It means always being there, ready at a moment's notice to let me turn you on.
It's the hair.
It's the hair.
Blushing.
That is what you do for me, Molten Hosting.
Okay.
No,
moving on.
I'm not done. There's more, and I wrote this, and Steve definitely didn't. It means being up for trying new things. Even if I installed modules that were unsecured. It means being able to forget. Like, when I restore my backups, you always let my mistakes go. It means accepting all of my friends, even when too many of them connected. You were able to handle us all. It means never judging me, even if I accidentally got 5th edition all over you. That is what you do for me, Molten Hosting.
We really need to
will
move
not
on.
be silenced. It means being willing to adapt like the second slot you let me use for testing.
That's it. Cut off his mic, Rick. Big thanks to Molten Hosting for sponsoring our show. If you're looking for cloud hosting provider that you will not regret falling in love with, sign up today at moltenhosting.com. Let's check in. Rick, unmute his mic. I want to hear.
Ah, the motherfucker! Ah!
No, mute.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Sign up today at moltenhosting.com. It's a cloud hosting server for your Foundry VTT that is always up for trying whatever crazy ideas you have for your games. It's a service we use here at the show, and we urge you to use them for your game too. And remember, at checkout, you can use that code Recall Knowledge.
One word.
One word. At checkout, and you can get your first month of service for free. And yes, you can use that second server slot for anything you want. Thank you, Molten Hosting.
And if you would like to sponsor the show and get very timely and current game read ads like this one, please contact us at Recall Knowledge.
Yes, exactly. Thanks everyone for being such a good sport. And Tommy, I really think we should just stick to the script from now on.
No, absolutely not. The things you write are bad, and the things that I come up with that are not the things you write at all are good, and I should use mine instead.
Let them feel their love.
You know what?
Yeah,
some people are into getting 5th edition everywhere. That's fine. I'm sure there's even a subreddit for it.
God.
Yeah. Let their love open the door.
Oh my god. We need to really move on. We gotta get started before we get canceled on YouTube. We're gonna get demonetized. So Rick, let's go ahead and start up that dance party.
It's okay. I heard they relaxed the rules on that.
I hope they relax them quite a bit after this intro. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for announcements. Viewers, go ahead and sit back, relax, and players, let's jump into episode 12 of Outlaws of Alkenstar, Cradle of Quartz, written by Scott D. Let's go! We find ourselves deep in the spell-scarred desert, our outlaws in search of a place known only as the Cradle of Quartz. It is a hidden, now abandoned location that was central to the Bry faith. You guys managed to unearth its secrets in ancient texts and came out looking for a man known as Kosowana, a renowned inventor who seemed to have gone missing and left enough clues pointing you guys to this location. The reason he is so interesting to your employer is that he has potentially managed to unearth and reverse engineer the formula for Pyronite. Your job is to find and secure him before his knowledge has the potential to fall into the wrong hands, which has led you on a long excursion, 4 days out by airship, where you found the Cradle of Quartz, and within a mysterious entity, which you guys have called the Time Dog, a creepy dog that seems to teleport in and out at will, causes bloodless cuts to appear all over your body, and has been stalking you ever since you stepped foot inside. Last session, Daruk managed to cut a deal with the Time Dog in which he has promised to deliver, I guess is the right word, the right verb I would use, one Kosowana to the Time Dog because the creature is unable to get to wherever he is. This temporary truce, this creature has backed off and given you guys passage, and you have, at the end of the last episode, managed to find the old leader of the cult that took up residence here in the Cradle of Quartz, whose name was Droxelos. And in his undead form, him and the rest of these inhabitants have been cursed to a life of undeath. And now he's been put down a second time thanks to Rufficule's crit. I think it was a crit. Yeah, it was a critical hit at the end of the last session dealing a nice 35 points of damage, putting down Droxelos, and giving you guys a moment to catch your breath. So that's where we kind of come in as the camera fades in. We see this room. It's Droxelos's chamber, his like undead skeletal form, just like bones shattered everywhere. The room in this chamber is not as, I guess, perpendicular. It's not squared. All the walls are like undulating and have weird bends to them. Nothing here is at right angles from each other, giving you guys a nice sort of respite and place to catch your breath where the time dog theoretically can't get you, because this chamber was kind of guarded against its effects. And that's where we come in. You guys look to be out of breath, bloodied. Beyond that, the scene is yours to do with as you wish.
Hey, sir, so remind me again how we got away from that time dog.
Look, I struck a deal. Here, come inside. Shut the door. No, start like waving towards Reffy and Wybert, in so much as Wybert can fit through there.
Right. That ghost is gone now, right?
Yeah, we should be good. My head hurts like there's no fucking tomorrow, but
I wonder if I could do something about
maybe. And off comes the shield, passes it over, or probably sets it on the ground, like in front of Anita. If you wouldn't mind again.
Of course. Hang on. Trait wounds. With assurance.
I also am hurt, so I appreciate that, but I was referring to my banged up shield.
Oh. Quick repair.
With assurance.
With assurance. So that's back to full.
The Hound of Tindalos is willing to let us move through here on points to where the cuts are like visible on Saruk's skin, if we deliver Olamon to them.
Any other stipulations? Like,
Out of character was there?
I don't believe so. You're asking out of character. I don't remember anything other than that. Just like you don't have to like kill him or sacrifice him. Just provide access to him.
And we leave these alone. The creature can see through them.
Oh.
Meaningful glance at Anita.
No.
I mean, maybe there's something where this spirit rested, unrested. I don't quite remember. Maybe it's something over here by the bed.
In the sarcophagus, maybe.
That's more your forte.
If you'd like, you can, while sort of the downtime is kind of happening here, you can give me a perception check as you search the space with your exploration activities.
Yeah, I might do. Even though Saruk isn't like talking about his wounds, he's obviously like hurt from where the wraith it was, whatever incorporeal undead we fought a month ago, fucked him up a bunch.
That's right. It was incorporeal. It was incorporeal. It wasn't like actually bones and stuff. So yeah, there wouldn't be a bunch of bones scattered around, would there?
We're
Not if
off
it's
to a
incorporeal.
great start.
Look at that.
That's because someone's been practicing at Pathfinder.
Yeah, this whole month just charging up Malazar.
So as Saruk and Hal, you kind of look around the room. There's not a lot of like valuables that look like trinkets or anything in this room. It's covered in like runes and writing and things like that. Everything that is on the wall seems to be carved, painted. There's almost like a dim sense of like magic that's been infused in this place. But I think with that high of a check, the one thing you guys do find is that within this sarcophagus, inconspicuously lying in the back of the room, you do find the body of Droxelos that's still in there where he died. But given the nature of the positioning and stuff, I think the big thing that Saruk notices for sure is that it almost looks like this wasn't a ritualistic burying and it wasn't peaceful. It looked like this thing, this man, this Droxelos, like sealed himself in trying to save himself from something. And just the position he's lying in makes it look like this was not a peaceful sort of resting for him. He had a violent end, a violent death at the end of his life. but inside there's nothing of value.
You hate to see it. Rest in peace, you bastard. How long am I stupefied for, Steve? Am I still?
I'm gonna check. Well, yeah, I'm gonna check what it says. Just double checking on, because this was from the creature's ability, right? The spectral corruption. So it was 1 hour from when it hit you, so on a successful save you were stupefied 2 for 1 hour.
Got it.
And on a failure you were also stupefied 2 for 1 hour. Looks like all the different levels of effects, it's 1 hour.
Makes sense. We can push on if we need to. I think we have a moment, though. Certainly glances at the eldritch walls.
You're looking over that direction when we need to go that other direction.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to take a look at this?
Look at what?
And I point around the corner.
Oh, Chakra. I'll poke my head around.
The camera sort of shifts from Ruffy's perspective as he's pointing out down the door, and you see beyond what looks, the best description you would probably give this looking at it is it's a long hall of crystals. The hallway appears less created by design and more like a natural fracture in the rock. The eastern wall that you see is just covered with giant hexagonal prisms, more than a foot across and several feet long, each of them ending in like that 6-sided pyramid with razor sharp points. And the many colored crystals, as your light sort of comes out of this room and hits it, even from these like sconces, just kind of refracts the light and sends sort of rainbow prisms everywhere. It looks like a giant wall of quartz.
Looks like a giant wall of quartz.
Well, let's just wait a minute. Saruk's eyes are pointing different directions.
Pulls down helmet over eyes.
We're going to sit here for an hour?
I mean, we could talk about what we're going to do with Kosowana.
It's not a bad idea. There's not like a door here.
No, it's just open. It's like an open chamber. And as Ruffy, you step out in the hallway just to take a peek. The hallway looks like it continues south for like quite a bit, but like right around here, you can tell the wall sort of ends, and it to the right it opens up into like looks like it opens up into a bigger chamber at least.
I'm all for planning, but maybe we should make sure there's not anything else trying to kill us that's gonna, pop up at us when we're sitting and chit-chatting.
And that means during the conversation, you're on lookout duty. Can you handle that?
Sure. So I don't shoot the lights, that's what you're saying.
Oh, and you can probably take that helmet off.
Ah. Right. Does kind of help with all the lights refracting, though.
Wiper could help you, Ruffy. I mean, he could just ring the alarm if anything pops up.
Put the behemoth in the hallway and it'll block the passage. Must be nice, huh, Wybert? You can actually fucking fit somewhere in this Cradle of Quartz.
Yeah. One of the first places he can fit.
Beep boop, beep boop.
All right. I'll keep lookout. My vote is to feed the guy to the time dog. Right. And I pop out by the hallway.
Stay where I can see you. Please.
Oh, okay, all right. So if we see Kosowana, do we drug him? Like, do we say hi, hello, and then knock him out?
I can drag him anywhere you want me to.
I'm not gonna. Listens for any disturbances in the walls before continues talking. Should I roll a perception check?
You can roll a secret perception check, or just a name and secret if you want. Just roll a perception check. You're listening for any sign of the time dog.
I am. Who is suddenly a lead now. Ugh. I'm sure it's fine. I'm not gonna let an innocent man die. I understand that the Hound of Tindalos wants that poor bastard dead, but there's more going on. There are miles and miles of context, and probably someone who can help us back in Alkenstar if things go over not pear-shaped. When it inevitably does, then glances over to Hal. Yeah, you can drag him. I won't stop you.
part of the sort of deal was like the Hound specifically is looking to deal with people who are trying to alter the flow of time or mess with time, right? And that he has a sight set on Kosowana right now.
If Kosowana is trying to alter the flow of time in some meaningful way, there obviously is a reason. If we can help him with that reason, obviously we can't turn back the clock, but...
Are you saying you can't turn back time?
No. I think you're trying to be funny, but my head is fucking killing me.
I'm over here.
Shut up. No, you're not.
I mean, maybe we stop him from doing whatever it is he's doing before he gets too involved in it, before he gets like sucked up and loses time in his work.
A viable third option. I just don't want to resort to lethal force or something that sacrifices someone who, grand scheme of things, is innocent until we are beyond a shadow of a doubt sure.
Are we going to consider maybe like a plan wherein if we do stop him from doing anything timey-wimey, try and sneak out of here without even getting the attention of the time dog? I know that's impossible, but...
Yeah. Glances over to the rust bucket in the hallway. We can try. I like where your head's at.
Because I know how he could see us.
I mean, if I can fit, maybe Kosowana can fit.
Oh, through Wybert's butt? Maybe.
Like that, yes.
I mean, we don't know. We don't. He could be a halfling for all we know.
No, he's human. We've seen pictures of him.
Right. Forgot.
Whether or not we're throwing more junk at the trunk is, we'll figure that out when we get there.
Enough time passes that you can go ahead and drop the stupefied condition as well as you and any other like patching up you guys need to. I guess you guys pretty much patched up, but
I might chug a lug of potion quick. What is the cooldown on battle medicine? Is it an hour?
Battle medicine, a day.
Or treat wounds even. Treat wounds, yeah.
An hour.
Can I get one more? Also, I can't remove conditions.
Theoretically, the 22 health you healed could have been doubled if you treat for the whole hour, right?
Yeah, we could do that. Mm-hmm.
So we can just call it that.
44.
Nice.
Condition removed. Everything like this like comes back into like a single unblurred vision.
Last question.
Go ahead.
Do we keep Kosowana unaware of the time dog trying to look for him, or?
Something tells me he knows. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, maybe we should have a conversation with him. What in tarnation are you doing?
Pretty much. Kijok. I'd like to summon my Eidolon.
Yeah, so I can pull the actual token, but Kijok pops into existence, and as he does, he like gives you a curt nod, but you can see he's sort of sniffing the air and like very much nervous about what's going on in the area.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Better here than somewhere angled.
What can I do for you?
It's safer here now. The occupants of this place won't be popping out of the walls and shredding us. I might need your help in case there are more. I point to where there might be like any trace at all of dead incorporeal thing. In case more of that. Is the boy okay?
He is being kept busy with Phoebe Dunsmith. Him and Dunsmith are keeping some secrets close to the chest, but the boy seems fine.
Good enough for now. Shall we, folks?
Let's go!
Up goes the shield. Out comes the big fuck-off Gundam cannon that a backpack ballista is.
Yep.
I'll bring to scouting.
Yeah, we're back to our default exploration activities, I'm assuming.
No, because Anita can't unscrew the lights anymore.
Oh, that's right. No more thieving. I mean, you could. You just told that it might anger some people.
I will chastise you a lot.
You know what? You're right, Wybert. I do look a bit like you with this helmet on, don't I?
So as you move into this sort of hallway, you can see like on the north side, it looks like the tunnel has been kind of dug out where there was future expansion in mind that never actually completed. The ceiling kind of like opens up. So most of the rooms are pretty low ceilings, like rooms, but in here, it goes up like 20, 25 feet. And you can even see like in the ceiling here, there are glimpses of the sky above. It's probably like late afternoon, so there's a little bit of light sort of streaming in from the ceiling that kind of gives entrance right here to this chamber. But as your eyes sort of look and see this large, magnificent wall of quartz, it's a little amazing, and it kind of recounts some of the lore you heard about this place when it was first discovered so many years ago. And it was kind of in the archives that you found. The person that discovered it was kind of known as Harcourt the Fisher, and he said, he kind of descended into a room full of crystals and spent weeks in awe. And when he emerged, only like hours had passed. And you can see this must have been what he found so many years ago. This long, beautiful wall of quartz. And south of you, you can see that it seems to open up into something else. I think anyone who's kind of hugging the far wall or approaching will notice that there seems to be a perfectly smooth geode of some sort in a sort of hexagonal chamber that kind of comes into view as you move closer. But you guys can choose what you'd like to do.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Just go to the far wall here.
Yeah, so this sort of chamber, the ceiling in this hexagonal chamber comes to a pyramidal point that reaches nearly 80 feet high into the like mountains like above. The most striking feature of this room is this large hemisphere of dazzling sandstone that's like 40 feet across, perfectly smooth, perfectly spherical. The orb, which only half is visible, like above the floor, is impossibly smooth, almost like a massive ball bearing or glass marble, and it's just set in the center of this chamber.
Does it look like there are like entrances to it or something that might be carved in? Or
so at a glance, just looking at it, perfectly smooth. There doesn't appear to be any signs that there's an interest or anything. But if you guys would like to if you want to spend some of your time sort of going around it, exploring it, you describe to me like what you guys are doing, and then I'll tell you like sort of what rolls we can make.
I guess next thing, the floor seems to change color here. Is that because of like light that is pitched, or like is this a flag we would see?
Where you guys are walking now, it's like more like like dirt, like actual natural floor, and then this chamber with the hexagonal walls and this sort of perfectly smooth object looks to be maintained, and it's got like actual like stone floor like carved into it and stuff, and tiles, and there's a bit of dirt sort of kicked onto it over the years, but it definitely looks less natural and less man-made and more designed like the rest of the temple.
Interesting. Obviously, we're making a lot of noise moving through here, so that airship has sailed. So I think Saruk's just gonna like orient this way. Kosowana, we just want to talk.
You can hear in this like large sort of chamber, as your voice goes out, it almost echoes back at you and kind of breaks that quietness. But there's no response, to your words, there's no answer, no response.
I'll head in.
Yeah, could we get in deeper?
Yeah.
By judging, this is like the next chamber. Top and bottom look like they were blocked off by them boulders. I mean, where else does this place go? Like we're missing something, or?
You saw him in here?
I didn't see him. It's process of illumination. Points at the big circle.
In this hexagonal chamber, each corner has one of those like lights on the wall that glows, and as you kind of walk past, you notice like the angles, the smooth walls, and you almost feel the eyes like looking through the lamp like on you, aware that you are pretty much being watched right now.
If there's any place Kosowana would be hiding in, it would be this circular thing. Honestly, because of the lack of acute angles.
Yeah, as you guys move around this chamber, like what is each one of you doing?
Could I like just brush my hands against the wall, trying to look for a door or a lever.
Yeah. You can make a secret perception check for me on that one.
I'm gonna clue in Anita.
I think Hal's looking out for any signs of danger, and he's got his sword out, and he's just walking around, like, peeking around as he rounds this south side of this corners, and then sees Saruk on the other side and kind of relaxes and looks around like something ain't right. So he's still scouting.
Still focusing all your attention on waiting for danger. Okay.
Yeah.
Refi?
I'm just keeping an eye on Annie.
Following Annie.
Line it up. +1.
All right, +1 on Anita's. And Saruk, what is Saruk doing in this sort of interval?
I think it's like we're nervous. Oh God, definitely the hound is watching us. Then Anita starts touching shit, and the Aladdin energy fires on. It's just don't touch that. Don't no, and that's me aiding her. While Kijak is, I guess Kijak could be watching behind us. Yeah.
So Anita sort of gives a once over, like kind of running her hands like along the smooth marble exterior. And you go around like the whole thing. You spend like 10 minutes of time searching for some seam, some way to get in, and you come out of it unable to find anything, Anita. And it almost impresses you that something this large could be made without joining together multiple objects. And you start to wonder, is this naturally formed? Is this something that's been constructed in such an advanced way that it's able to hide the construction pieces? It's kind of impressive, but you don't find a way in, unfortunately.
I can't find a way in, but I mean, never really stopped us. Wybert's here. He could maybe bulldoze his way into this thing.
I think Kijak with a 30 there on that sort of
wow.
Search and helping. I think what Kijak notices most that kind of guides you guys is in this like southern area where the dirt kind of transfers into the stone. There is signs of like very faint. You'd have to like be really good and know what you're looking for, but there are signs of footprints coming up from the south, and sort of the footsteps are hurriedly kind of coming around the north end of the sphere. So the footsteps kind of come up this way before petering out, but they look rushed, like the feet were dragging dirt behind them and it was somebody running, and they look relatively fresh compared to the rest of the chamber. Now it's a little bit harder to see now that you guys have walked around and add your own footsteps to the mix, but it definitely looks like somebody recently came through and sort of came up from the south and rounded around the north side of the sphere.
And they end like right here.
Right around there's where like you're seeing like the dirt being carried into the room, and right around there it just kind of looks like the dirt gets so faint that it becomes impossible to track where they might have gone after that.
Sir tries to say this really quietly, but I imagine in this chamber and with his size, voice carries. I could always ask our friend. They've been here for longer. They might know. I don't like it, but...
Did you see these footprints, though? The thinnest, longest feet I've ever seen.
Not Chakwa.
I also tend to... I'm not a very good searcher for stuff, so I could just have missed whatever door that's in it.
Perhaps. If anyone is opposed, speak your piece. Turns towards this eye.
Just trying to think, what else? I mean, this is the only circular thing we found in here, right?
Correct.
Besides that helmet? Yeah.
What was that? Can't really hear you that well.
I'm trying to speak quietly, Rafi. We have all the eyes on us.
So Hal, as you drift south down this hallway, you can kind of trace the footprints back in the opposite direction that they came from. And you do see like sort of the hallway looks from here like it's just a dead end hallway, but you do notice as you get closer that on this side of the wall, there's very clear signs that there's a secret door on this wall here. Like from this side, it's not very secret, but the way it's set into the wall, you can tell from the other side, it would probably have been a secret door.
I'll go back to hear what Refugio has to say.
I was just thinking that, I mean, this place has to do with, like, timey-wimey type stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the clock is round, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Generally.
Wasn't there something funny with Kosowana's clock or something?
Yeah, something about the 13th hour. I'm also remembering if one of the reasons why the Time Hound didn't it say that he has some constraints or restrictions on getting Kosowana? I mean, this seems like a restriction because there's no angles to it.
Which means somehow Kosowana got I tapped the dome. Go on with the clock theory.
I mean, no, that's about as far as I got. I mean, I was hoping your brains would get a bit further.
Fair.
I mean, maybe there's supposed to be a 13th position that's supposed to open. I mean, maybe there's something in that control room down the hallway here.
There's a control room down the hallway.
I mean, there's a secret door, and
Hellbrent
these
Beastwood.
footprints maybe it runs in that position to the 13th position. Perhaps there's some kind of lever.
Do you want us to stay in here in case the door opens?
Sure, I'll be quiet and sneak down the hallway and
Just don't know. I'll be here where the footprints stop.
I think Hal takes off his hat and puts it on the light right here so we can fade into the darkness.
Okay. Dimming the light just a bit.
Opens the door.
Doors down here just a little bit more. So as you sort of slide the door open and peek through the beyond, you see the similar blue light in the chamber ahead of you, kind of folding out these hexagonal blue lamps. It looks like there is almost like a desk chamber of some sort. You see an old desk, like kind of rotten wooded chairs, a bunch of like shattered destruction. It looks like something terrible kind of came through here, but it does look like this alcove contains like the remnants of a bed, a work table, a writing desk.
Mm-hmm.
It appears like you're almost looking into some sort of living space.
Any obvious non-human footprints or signs of danger in here?
Give me a secret perception check.
Let's say
Question marks.
There is signs of footprints in this chamber, relatively fresh. I would say no more than a few days old, and a very distinct scent of like rot and decay that reminds you of when you fought the creatures earlier in your foray here into the Cradle of Quartz. You had fought some priests, some undead creatures that kind of burst out and attacked you. Seems like you kind of pieced together this might have been where they were living before they attacked you. But it sounds quiet now, still silence in the air.
get down the hallway and say, Saruk, I think you're more familiar with some of this stuff over here. It smells a little bad, but looks like somebody's living here. And I'll kind of motion him over, make him over.
You want me to look at it right now? All right. I'll leave Kijak like with Refi and Anita, and I will make my way down. And I'll miss the door. All right. I step into the room.
Once you step into here, and it's kind of weird. You almost get like a small sense of deja vu as you look at the room from this end. But this is the same room that you saw through Kijak's eyes a few days previously, like maybe like 2 days ago when Kijak went scouting ahead. Kijak came in through the like sort of front, and you guys are kind of looping around and coming in the back through the secret door. But it's definitely a space you've seen before.
Poor bastards. Is there anything like on the desk?
All like most of the wood and the utensils, like everything here has been like rotted and decayed over time. I would say the thing you notice are like the gouge marks, the slash marks, and the sort of like blood stains in the wood that look old, like decades old.
To remind myself, the priests of Bry were brought here by Jacques Solos, who was pretending to be a priest of Bry, but actually was a priest of Yog-Sothoth, I think. And then that's how they lost their faith and why they became Herexen afterwards, right?
Correct. Yeah. It looks like in their death, they were reincarnated as Herexens and forced to live here ever since. I would say the one thing that you do notice, like looking through, you don't see like any, like maybe like writing utensils, things like that, but you do see that there are lots of old crates of like clockwork pieces and gears and sheet metal and tarp and things that could be used to build things that maybe in life they were building and designing and inventing things here that have been sat untouched for the last 40 years or so.
It is perhaps the right thing to do to bring this back. I pick up crates.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have an object for that or anything, but you could go ahead and mark that you just have essentially like, there's a lot of bulk here. There's probably like 4+ bulk worth of like spare parts and things.
Oh, never mind. That's going to throw out my lumbar. We'll get it after if we can.
You can take some of it, but yeah.
I'll take just this one sprocket specifically.
I can carry that
Nice.
stuff if you need me to. I'm a bit light on my feet. I'm going to carry that desk for you.
Not the desk. I think maybe if they had the choice in life, they would want their work to continue. They were led here and they were tricked, and that's why they became what they did. That doesn't sit well with me. If nothing else, Anita could use it.
I think the thing you would notice too is like some part of you would understand this would probably be a good amount of materials to repair an airship had it been broken.
Oh, really? How? Wildly specific. Good thing we had someone who was real good at shooting fake dragons, huh?
Exactly.
We should get back to the others before Ruffy does something stupid or Anita starts stealing something.
Speaking of which, in the time that they're gone, Ruffy got a little bit bored and started taking the barrel of his gun and just tapping the crystals, the quartz crystals on the wall, to see if they make any sound.
They do. I mean, it sounds like you would expect, like hitting like giant oversized like quartz crystals. Each one has like a different resonance and a different frequency. They don't break, they don't trigger anything, but it just kind of, you can hear the silence broken by Ruffy drumming on the quartz crystals with the barrel of his gun.
Ruffy, you think you can take one of those out? Because it is a power source.
Are they? Just thought they were a bit pretty.
They're pretty and useful. I mean, hang on. I'll come to you.
Give me a quick crafting check, Anita, or for Anita. Like a recall knowledge crafting check.
Secretly?
Yeah, you can make it secret since it's a recall knowledge.
Question marks.
From what you would know is quartz is very pretty, but in terms of value, it's not the most valuable material in Alkenstar. You are true that there are some untapped potential in quartz that you've learned about recently, and quartz is a very holy stone in the Temple of Bri, but in Alkenstar, you pretty much can't expect to get more than like a silver piece per dozen of these crystals. They're not, you could take the crystals, but you can't expect to get a good payday back in Alkenstar.
It's like when you're a tourist in Hawaii and you know that you shouldn't grab a rock from the beach, but you still grab a rock from the beach.
Yeah, Steve.
That's what she's doing right now.
Oh, God.
I'm a bit confused because it's more of a hallway, right?
Right.
Shouldn't this place be called like the hallway of quartz?
That's true. I don't know. I still have to familiarize myself with Bride. So far, she's for someone who's kind of like sold as very direct. There's a lot of vagueness to her as well. I could ask her again if I die.
Let's wait on that a bit. See if, we can hold off.
In any case, I'll just pop the question up, and then if I come back, I'll just tell you what she told me.
Maybe by then you'll be like even more machine, right?
right? On actual machine. Or if she tells me, oh no, you can't go back anymore. It's a one-time deal. Then I'll just wait for you to get there to like Bry as well.
I have a feeling I might not be going to the same place you are, Annie.
Well, we could meet at that river. I do remember a river. So like we'll meet at the river. Because I do feel like I'm gonna die before you. So I'll die. I'll ask Bri the question, and then we'll meet at the river, and then I'll tell you the answer.
That's not happening. You dying before me.
It did though, Refi, it did.
Kind of got me that one.
What's taking them so long? Are they okay?
But it isn't going to happen again. Sir comes walking up. You never deserve to have anything like this happen to you, and you, underneath all of the grit, there is a spark of goodness that I see, and I'm not going to let either of you come to harm, and we're going to get out of this, and there are brighter days ahead.
Even under the helmet, you can see it.
God damn it, Ruffy.
The sort of end of that sentence is like kind of punctuated by like what sounds like a kind of a loud, like banging metal noise. And you kind of turn around and it looks like Wybert has kind of like stumbled and fallen to his knee and kind of create like a loud bang in this kind of quiet area. And when you sort of turn and look, Anita, you realize that like the floor, one of the tiles that he stepped on, gave way under his weight and sort of fell in, and he lost his balance and fell forward and kind of got banged up.
Everyone, look around for a door that probably opened.
The Wybert struck 12.
But like as Wybert stands back up, you kind of see his leg had fallen into a hole, and as he pulls his leg out, you can see that this tile that has now like kind of cracked in creates an opening that looks like it opens up into a crawl space right on the north end of the sort of crystal, the geode, right around here.
You think a Temple of Bry would have a bit better construction?
It's actually a Temple of Yog-Sothoth, disguised as a Temple of Bry, but we could deal with that later.
Tight.
Never change, Ruffy.
Good job.
Yeah, Wybert, what luck of providence you have.
I'm gonna crawl in there and take a look. I mean, I can go down there.
I should go first. I'm sure I know where this goes.
I mean, I can disappear.
To what now?
I can crawl in there and disappear. Is there any light sources down there? There are no
Completely
light sources.
dark.
I can get in and get out. And I can see whatever's there probably can't see me.
Saruk nods and positions himself such that his shadow is cast over the crawl space.
I think Hal gets his rope out and hands one half to Saruk. He's about to say, tie this around your waist, but then he looks up at his 7 foot and says, never mind, just hold on to it. And I think Hal will slowly start to descend into the hole, and as he starts to go down, he will go invisible or fade into the shadow.
Sneaking around, fading into the shadows. Sure. This crawl space is pretty tiny, right? So you're basically like on your hands and knees as like a normal sized human, crawling through it at like a slow pace, trying to be quiet and sneaky. But the rest of you just kind of watch Hal sort of crawl into the space and disappear from your view. So Hal kind of like crawls on hands and knees, goes into the tunnel, and we see sort of as he crawls into the dark, our scene sort of fades completely to black. And as it does, we're left with nothing but like a dark screen. The sounds of the previous scene sort of fade to nothing. And slowly we kind of hear a noise that kind of starts low and kind of builds. The bustle and muffled talking of a large group of people. The camera does a quick cut from this black, and we can see a person walking away from the camera that had kind of created the blackness. And we're following this person as they walk and weave their way through a crowd away from the camera. This man, by all accounts, looks to be in his early 30s. His clothes well kept, displaying the traditional colors of Bry, white with gold threading. Olaman Kosowana smiles warmly at those in the room he recognizes, exchanging pleasantries. As he leaves, we see lingering stares and whispered snickers behind him. A man whose reputation has seen better days. As he has stopped once more to talk with an esteemed professor, we hear his voice for the first time over the muffled crowd. Yes, I've been to dozens of presentations that all claim to alter the course of Alkenstar, and we've yet to even slightly adjust our course. Skilled clockwork is, and always will be, our future. As he is finishing his sentence, he is bumped, causing him to drop the pamphlet he's holding to the ground. The camera follows it to the ground, and we see a familiar face on the pamphlet. Vashon Gattleby presents An Explosive Future. In it, we see a caricature of Gattleby, smile plastered on his face, holding what we now know to be Pyronite. He's leaning over a small safe. A hand reaches into frame, picking it up and handing it back to Kosowana. And as the camera pulls back a bit, we see it is a younger Anita. No clockwork gears, less scars. Oh, thank you, dear, says Kosowana. Sorry about that. She just smiles and turns back to her friends, who all giggle before making their way back towards the student seating section. Kosowana excuses himself and takes a seat. We get a shot here in the back of the auditorium of a now recognizable face, Phoebe Dunsmith, sitting discreetly a few rows back, her wide-brimmed hat covering most of her face. We've seen this story before. We hear Gattleby giving his spiel, talking about his new invention, Pyronite, a safer alternative to black powder, one that will cause less accidental death. But our camera view in this version never leaves Kosowana's face. It's pushing in slower, closer to his face as the scene unfolds. We can hear the safe being rolled onto the stage, its sturdiness being demonstrated. Bolts from this day on, black powder is a relic of the past. The sound of a fuse being lit. The frame is filled with a close-up of Kosowana's bored face. Then the explosion. The sound goes out in the scene, replaced with nothing but a high-pitched whine in our ears. Horrified people around Kosowana begin to scramble over each other, trying to make their way out of the theater. We see some being carried, bloodied, blurred in the background, but Kosowana doesn't move. He's staring at this scene, staring at this demonstration, and the look on his face has changed to display a single emotion: fear. There's a quick cut to a workshop. A clock with 13-hour hands ticks away in the otherwise silent scene. Masu, his cat, sits curled, sleeping within reach. Kosowana is sort of lost in thought and idly petting her. Only the click-clack of the clock making any noise, breaking the silence. Finally, Kosowana speaks. This invention will ruin us. Such deadly force in the hands of the common man. No, it is too much. Our temple. And there's a pause, a stinging recoil as he says the words, the memory of his recent forced departure. Not our temple, the temple. Without their safeguards to protect it, Alkenstar is ruined. He stops petting. A moment of realization and determination sets over his face. Fry, guide me. Yes, if this formula is complex enough, rare enough, maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe there's a chance. Almost at once, we can see Kosowana jumping to his feet. We get a quick montage sitting over the desk, the click-clack of the clock watching over him, mixing chemicals, lighting the fuse, a small fizzle, over the desk, mixing chemicals, bigger explosion, over, and over, over. His beard grows every cycle, his face thinner, leaner. The pile of paperwork and notes gets taller, messier. We see one final shot, a long, slow pan across the workshop. Kosowana is working frantically, mixing something together. Could it be that simple? Surely not. His words are distant. The camera passes behind a flask filled with some clear liquid. As it does, and we see this strange, distorted figure refracted in the liquid, we see a strange, shadowy form standing over Kosowana. As he moves about, grabbing chemicals, mixing things, we see the shadow moving his hands like a puppet, whispering into his ear, guiding him. Camera moves past the flask, and Kosowana is again alone, this time holding up a stick of pyronite. Soda ash and a pinch of spell-scarred desert salt as a stabilizer. So simple, and yet... He gets up off his stool, almost sleepwalking, as he moves across the corner of his workshop, his testing site. He lights the fuse, steps back behind the sandbags. The resulting explosion says it all. The clockwork he's testing on explodes, sending shards flying everywhere. Burn marks scorch the dirt. Masu screeches and rushes out of the workshop. All the while, Kosowana is slumped over in tears at his discovery. Cut to days later. A bottle of whiskey sits half empty on the desk. Kosowana looks defeated, his eyes swollen and red. A newspaper sits under the bottle. The camera shifts to show us the headline. Chaos at Bottleneck Bridge. Seattle be attacked. Picks up the bottle, taking a long swig. Well, they had the right idea anyway. Maso is here, rubbing against Kosowana's legs, trying to get his master to pay attention. But Kosowana stares, unable to even feel the cat on his leg. Picks up the bottle, takes a long swig. Somebody has to have the guts to do what is necessary. There's a long pause. Silent moment is drawn out for too long. Then it's interrupted by the chiming of the clock on his desk. Dong, dong, dong. Kosowana looks down at the firearm on his desk. 3 more chimes of the clock. He slowly reaches for it, taking a moment to admire the quality of the work. Another 3 dongs. Why did you have to show me how easy it is? He removes his holy symbol of Bry, tossing it onto the desktop in anger. 3 more dongs. The firearm is loaded. The click of the hammer. The silence. And then the 13th chime. Dong. Kosowana pauses, looks up at the clock. The 13th ordinal. His eyes go wide. Yes, of course. How could I not consider? As if re-energized, Kosowana puts the firearm down on his desk. He begins digging through his files, looking for all his papers on the concurrent heresy, those penned by the 13th Ordinal himself. This is his purpose, he realizes. This is why Bry tested his faith, exposed him to the forgotten teachings, led him to the formula. Somebody has to have the guts. Do what is necessary. See a revitalized man, clean shaven, showered, the workshop still a mess. It's daytime now. Beautiful clockwork sphinx sitting near the open loading docks. Explosions of gunshots ringing off screen. Kosowana looking towards it nervously. We see him running around to the clocks, setting each to the time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 7 seconds. He loads his quartz crystal into his most recent venture and closes it gingerly. You see him talking to his cat. My friends will be worried, Masu. Make sure you help them find me. The world should know what I did here today. It's my turn to course correct the future of Alkenstar. As he jumps into the clockwork creature and flies off, we hear gunfire ringing out. Masu runs hissing from the back door into the streets. And a group of gangsters, each with their golden guns, runs through the frame, firing at Kosowana as he flies off into the distance. Single foot steps in the frame, barefoot and hairy. And as the shooting stops, a hand-rolled cigarette falls into the frame, stomped out by the heel of this barefoot. You hear the rustling and the click of the lighter, though the camera never moves up. I searched the place. It might be here. From there, the screen goes dark again, and we return to the silence, the rustling of Hal Brent, hands and knees crawling through the dark tunnel. And how you find yourself sitting shortly, open at the hollow geode, the central chamber here in the Cradle of Quartz. This hollow amethyst geode is as perfectly smooth on its interior as it is on its exterior. If not for its sheen, colorful array of hues, it would be easy to mistake the interior for glass or obsidian. But what your eyes are drawn to is a strange disc-shaped platform of purest iron floating in the center of the sphere. A 5-foot-tall segment has been cut out of the lower half of the geode, which you're crawling out of, and there's this strange metal circular platform floating a few feet off the ground right in the chamber. And there, with its back to you, sits the still, silent outline of a man. That's where we're going to go to our break. That's where we're going to pick up.
Steve, every fucking time you do that, I'm reminded just how lucky I am that I get to play with you, because holy fucking shit, those are so good.
I know, it's really riveting.
Really riveting.
It's easy to understand what happened to Kosowana. I mean,
And we the players would have no goddamn clue because we don't get to see the things. We just show up and he says the things. He says,
gotta show
it's
the
good.
players, gotta show the audience, but not the characters what's going on. But it is fun. But that's gonna be our break. We're gonna come back and then Hal can meet the mysterious. Is it Kosowana? Perhaps. But we'll see when we come back what's going on. So while we're at break here on the show, take the time to support us if you can. Head on over to twitch.tv/recallknowledge and subscribe. Follow if you haven't yet. There we go. Sassafraslas is now following. Thank you. If you have a Twitch Prime sub or a regular sub, we'll gladly take that as well. Also, head on over to youtube.com/recallknowledge. It's a great place to catch up on all our past, catch all of our future shows, subscribe, We have lots of learning videos on there, all kinds of cool stuff. And we're going to be back in 10 minutes with some more Outlaws of Alkenstar. So take a minute, clear your brain, and come back to find what's at the heart of the Cradle of Quartz.
Dun,
Be
dun,
back
dun.
in 10 minutes.
Dong.
Don't
Dong,
leave.
Dong,
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 dong.
dong.
There's more to come.
The donging of the 13th dong. Dong's back on Recall Knowledge.
So we're back. Welcome back to the 13th donging.
Why does that sound like a really bad porn from the 90s?
I don't know, man. I guess that's Paizo's new venture, the 13th donging.
What was that movie that Antonio Banderas was in? Help me out, guys.
13th Warrior.
Yeah, there it is.
That being said, we are back. So welcome back. Thanks for sticking through our break. So we resume our outlaws deep within the Cradle of Quartz and the donging in the Cradle of Quartz. We find the central dark chamber, this perfectly smooth interior of the geode, as Halbrent Beastwood crawls forth, stands up and looks up and sees a man huddled, knees in his chest, arms wrapped around him, back to you, sitting in the complete silence, staring off into space. Doesn't appear to have noticed you, Hal. What would you like to do?
I think Hal's going to tug on the rope a couple times.
Circle start moving. Yeah. You two stay out here, would you? If you hear gunfire, well, then you're on, Ruffy. You mind watching my back?
Right. I gotcha.
Before Saruk starts moving, Saruk does the predator bro handshake, right? Everybody knows what that is describing. It's like grab, squeeze. Be careful, you two. And I'm gonna...
I think I'm visually hoping I'm thinking the same thing that you are.
The predator bro handshake? Yeah, with...
Or arm clasping kind of thing.
Yeah, with
This thing.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and the guy whose name I can't remember. You son of a bitch! Right? We all know.
Beastmaster.
And drop down in.
I think Hal, once he feels slack on the rope, he's going to look around in awe and be like, what is this place? Kosowana, why are you here? And he looks over his shoulder as Saruk approaches.
Don't panic. We just want to talk.
Even as you talk and break the silence of this room, Kosowana doesn't stir, doesn't react, doesn't move at all. The back still to you. You can see the breaths he's taking and the movements, but he's not responding to your words.
I'm coming closer. And Saruk's gonna start making his way over. As he's doing so, gonna undo the rope, lest combat start, and somehow me and Hal are stuck to each other trying to fight. Kosowana?
Yeah, you kind of come around the side and you're talking, and you can see just the way he's behaving. There's 1,000-mile stare on his eyes and a glazed over look that, in your sort of sizing him up, almost looks slightly catatonic here at the moment.
Okay. I think Saruk is going to... Do I think I can fireman carry this guy?
Oh yeah, this guy compared to you for sure.
I'm gonna pick you up. I don't know if you can hear me. And I'm gonna arm around him and try to get him up.
I think as you kind of come around and you're saying this and your words are falling on deaf ears, but the minute you sort of circle around and kind of come even in his peripheral view of vision, something almost clicks in him, and there's a fear in his eyes as he screams and scrambles back towards the center of the platform away from you. And there's that reaction, that quick instant where he looks petrified.
Well, you know what that means. I know he's not actually frightened, but I have this. I'm gonna keep using it.
Absolutely, let's do it. Give him the reduce the panic of this creature with a diplomacy check.
Okie doke. It's fine. I'm not going to hurt you. You're my lead, Kosowana. Of course you are.
Definitely is.
Come the fuck on. I'm going to burn my first hero point. I would like to do better than that.
Let's do better than that. It's the same
Oh,
number.
let's
Yay!
21 it is, I guess.
So 21's not enough to sate this creature's panic. It is not a success. This is considered a failure, so it doesn't actually reduce his panic. You watch as he's like almost like half-heartedly kicking away at you, scrambling backwards, and just saying like you see him like closing his eyes. You know, you can tell he's trying to like avoid eye contact with you. He's like, no, stay away, stay away, and he's like kicking half-heartedly at you.
You don't need to avert your eyes. I'm not a hound of Tyndalos. I'm me. I'll switch to Mwangi, I think. I'm here to help.
As you sort of speak these words, and like, you know, he feels a little bit safe that there's no immediate attack. The panic subsides over like the next like 10 seconds or so, and like the sort of eye like opens up and he sees you sort of standing there speaking back at him, and he realizes you're not an immediate threat, and his eyes sort of panic, like look around the room. How are you still sneaking and skulking about?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my shadow mark and kind of shift off to the left and try to avoid his notice, not to panic him.
So he looks around the room and he just sees Saruk. He doesn't see anyone else, and he looks right at you, Saruk, with panic. He says, I tried. I had to try.
You had to try what? Start at the beginning.
His eyes like around the room. It seems like he's having a hard time focusing here. Like his brain seems scattered. He's been here alone for like a long time. Just looking at him, he looks thirsty. He looks hungry. You know,
I'm gonna break out.
and it looks like he's indifferent to you at this point. He's not really receptive to what you're saying and asking. It doesn't seem like he's in the right mental state.
Out of character, all the fucking chocolate that I had. God damn it. I think Saruk is gonna break out his water skin. Here, you look thirsty. Drink, please.
Give me a diplomacy check and give me an item, a water bonus. Let's say he's really thirsty. I'm gonna give him a +2 water bonus on this one.
All right. I'll call that untyped, and it's a water bonus.
No, it's an item bonus.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, I suppose there's a bonus from that, isn't it? Hockey dokey, and you said that was +2. That's added. Don't do another 21. I consider about it 34.
So as you present the water skin, and like you almost like can see like licking in the dry mouth as you're holding it out to him, he like kind of reaches out and like snatches it from you really quick and just immediately begins like guzzling as much water as he can. As he does, this sort of improves his disposition towards you from an indifferent to a more stable mental state and more. That's a pretty high roll. So we'll say he's moved all the way up to like friendly with you, and he's so parched and you just watch him drink. That was very uncouth. I apologize. And he hands you back like a half drink water skin.
Don't worry about it. You've had a really hard go of it. Now, from the beginning, what in Majagwa's name is going on?
He does sort of look you up and down as you say that, and he says, You're not from the temple, are you?"
I remove the badge. MSSP. I'm here to help.
Did they not even did they send you?
It's a really complicated story. There are a lot of things ticking right now, though. I promise we can talk about it later. Right now, though, from the beginning, please.
There's this fella named Vashon Gattleby.
I'm aware.
You are aware of him, so you've heard about his invention.
I have.
That invention will be the ruin of our entire city. It's child's play to make any first-year alchemist at Blithir could whip it up. You gotta understand, it has the potential to alter our future not for the good. And you can just see like he's sort of panicking himself, and then he studies like, Rai showed me the way, showed me my path forward. This place, you know what this place can do, don't you?
I've heard stories. Why don't you tell me what you think it can do?
Well, to put it simply, and he kind of pushes the glasses up on his nose, This place can turn back time.
Put it in more broad terms. What are you planning?
I had to stop him. He's too much dangerous to be left alive. Bry trusted me. I had to go back and kill him before he invented it. You know what I mean, right? You see the conundrum here. Battleby has to die.
Did you kill him?
Isn't that simple? I showed up and there were these creatures, these heretics, they wore the cloth of Bry, but something was not right with them. And this hound of Tindalos stalks the corridors, and he chased me, and everything struck at me. But it didn't matter. She protected me. She deflected their blows. She led me here to this geode. This is where I can make it all happen. And he stops and he looks around the room. I could only figure it out. I don't know how this chamber works.
You're a smart man, yeah? Of course you are.
Of course, the time properties, this geode, it must be some central... This platform is a central focusing of all the energy.
Correct. Do you know what a Herexin is?
Well, of course.
And you know that the people out there who chased you here, who are Herexin...
Yeah, but just because they wavered in their faith doesn't mean I have to waver in mine.
They were led here. Out of character, did we have like a journal or some kind of like clear proof of what Joxos was doing here?
You did. Somebody had found, like, looted the journal with all the information. You guys haven't really had time to really read and digest the whole journal, but the first and last entry sort of gave you the gist of the plan. So you do have a physical journal.
I think that's the leather-bound book that Saruk has.
Probably.
I'll withdraw it, pass it over. Last page. Bry has nothing to do with this place. This is the workings of a great old one.
You lie.
Read it.
What game is this?
I'll just turn to the last page, hold it up in front of him.
It's like completely dark in here. He actually has a hard time seeing. He's like, do you have a light? Oh, never mind. And you see he goes to cast like the light cantrip. And as he does, kind of like looks at his hand and he does the motion and like nothing happens.
I'll pull one of the... It's ironic. I've given Anita so much shit because I have this ever-burning torch in my inventory. But I'll pull the ever-burning torch and presumably it still works.
Oh, yeah.
As I do that, when I turn that on, do I get the sense that there might be someone else watching in here? I'm going to quickly glance at it.
Given that it's not affixed to the wall and like gazing into it and stuff, you're pretty sure you're safe. You get the sense that the eyesight and stuff only works when it's like connected and in the sconces and in the wall. So here, this ever-burning torch, here in this circular chamber, you do feel alone, shielded from the creature's eyes. But as Kosowana like begrudgingly like looks and reads the journal, you see his eyes go wide as he reads. You see like beads of sweat forming. Literally, as he kind of reads, you watch. Give me a perception check, sir.
Oh, I will. Do you want it secret or not?
No, you can make it public. That's fine.
22.
You start to notice some telltale signs with the skin starts getting a little flushed, the beads of sweat, the eyes flickering. His eyes start like doing this like sort of glazed over thing. You recognize the signs that this guy's about to have like a panic attack and probably pass out.
So I'm going to lower the book. I'd like to offer a third option. Can I?
He's hyperventilating as he like reaches out and has his hand like on your shoulder. This dude's whole belief system is being challenged by what you've just shown him. And he's looking for anything to grasp onto.
I'm going to give him back the water. Drink this. Deep breaths. It's not your fault. It's the fault of something that has been destroyed. I understand why someone would be led to something like this. It's okay. I'll just like squeeze his arm.
Don't understand. I gave up everything. everything, my life, my beliefs. And he looks at his hand and you can see him trying to cast spells and like light cantrip. Like nothing seems to work, and he feels himself like the magic that he's wielded his whole life has been like drained from him.
Not everything. You are still alive, and people who are alive can atone. Masu is still alive, and we've been looking out for them. Janaya, do you know who Janaya is? I'm guessing you do.
He looks confused. He's like, Masu's my cat. Who's Janaya?
You didn't realize there was a child living in... Never mind. We'll focus on the cat then. Your cat is alive, safe and sound. You're alive.
Oh, Masu, did you feed him?
Yes, of course.
Oh, great.
You can come back from this. I understand that as a concept, Pyronite is really dangerous, and believe me, I agree with you. But you're a smart guy, and things that can be used to destroy can also be used to innovate, to create, and the difference here is the application and the person applying it. I bet you can think of 100 different things to do with Pyronite that would advance Alkenstar in productive, good ways.
I mean, of course, but like without the temple's guidance and the rigid structures and the rules and regulations, it's gonna be a bloodbath out there. Like the destructive power of the strongest mage from Nex in the hands of some gunslinger on the corner.
I'm not saying it's not going to be rocky. Change almost always is, but when there are more weights on the side of good, you understand. And even if you figured out how to do it, I don't think you're willing to sell yourself to the ruinous powers of the Dark Tapestry to fix it, are you?
No, but it's elementary. I mean, any idiot could figure. I figured it out in just a few days working on it. Like, how hard could it be?
Correct. Pyronite is like the worst kept secret in all of Alkenstar. I'm coming to figure out. They're gonna figure it out eventually. If there's someone like you who can help steer people, use the teachings of Bry, use your own logic. You're an incredibly smart man. You can be the change that you want, and you can work against the change that you don't. Can you do that?
Well, might have a slight problem with that.
You're referring to the Hound of Tindalos?
I'm referring to the ruffians that broke into my workshop and shot at me.
Oh, yeah. All right, short version, we have kind of a checkered past with them as well. We have a common enemy.
Yeah, well, when I came here to, go back in time and kill baby Gallowby, I have let my formula fall into their hands. I mean, I looked back and I saw this halfling fella dressed to the nines, rummaging over my notes. I imagine they probably got their hands on it. I figured it wouldn't matter. I'm going back in time to take care of the problem in the past, right?
And now that option has got away from you. And if Mugland has it, I need your help to make him not have it. Can you help me?
I will say, given this whole conversation, I will give you a chance here to change this dude's very stubborn mind with a diplomacy check.
Okay. Does he want more water?
No, I don't think he needs. There's no water bonus on this one, unfortunately. He's yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's not parched and catatonic anymore. He's dealing with the reality of the world that you just crumbled. You just destroyed this whole dude's worldview.
I don't know who to ask for guidance on this one. Chrysler has failed us, so yeah, never mind. That's all right. 33.
Oh, that's actually pretty dang good.
Oh, nice.
Also, I see you two in Discord. Stop fucking trolling me.
So
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
You're basically
Oh, my baby.
with this roll, you're hitting on all the right notes. You're saying things that can kind of pull Kosowana. Like he's at this really tenuous spot in his mind where he has the potential to go in this really self-destructive downward spiral, but you've given him a path forward, and your words connect with Kosowana, and he nods and he takes another drink from the water and hands you back the water skin and takes a deep breath, and he reaches into his sort of like belt where he pulls out like this dagger he has, and he kind of like grabs it like fiercely and jumps off the platform. Not a big dude, he's just the skinny, scrawny little inventor kind of guy. Comes up to like mid-chest height at best, and he's like, all right, let's do this.
I extend my hand. My name is Saruk. I suppose I should have introduced myself first.
Kosowana, you're a brave man to come this far alone.
Not alone. I cough loud enough for Hal to hear. I'm going to bring everybody else in. But because you didn't actually go back in time and murder an infant, we're going to forget that ever happened, and you're not going to tell anyone, and it was just an errant thought that you thought better of. As far as the Pyronite thing, we're going to assume, it's reasonable to assume they found it when they went through your workshop.
Scion Nixie in chat is redeeming a hydrate in honor of all the water drinking in the game, so everyone hydrate.
All I have is coffee! It's a problem.
Bring it.
He's like, it was a good plan though, right? Like, it would have worked.
It's not a good plan. Not only would you have murdered someone who at the time would have been innocent, the amount of... Look, I don't know shit about temporal mechanics, but I do know that things have rippling effects. And if not... I understand why you felt that way. Closes his eyes, shakes his head.
Wait, Saruk, he like stops you for a second and says, if this Droxolos is full of shit, right? Then none of this time travel stuff is even real.
Or it was real, and there are creatures that live not upward. You don't want to fuck with it, and there's something here that wanted to prevent you from fucking with it that we are now going to have to deal with. Swallows hard, checks gun.
What you're saying is there's actually a chance, and he kind of side-eyes the platform again.
I'm just gonna put a hand on his shoulder and squeeze hard enough to make him not think that.
Okay, boss.
There are other ways to do it. Don't have enough babysitting to do as it is, Machagua.
You don't think he's gonna kill them without us, right?
I don't think so. He's very considerate of your feelings.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he knows we want to be there, right?
Yes, of course. Oh, while they were down there, can I take this time to do treat wounds on both Refi and I? 10 minutes each. All right.
Do yourself first. I'm not too bad off.
Yeah, as your sort of conversation comes to an end, and as you're kind of healing up, you can hear. So are you calling for them? Or are you actually like crawling out, sticking your head out, or what's the deal here?
I think Hal would probably head out once Saruk says, I'm going to bring in my friends.
As Hal's doing that, does Kosowana look like he's armed with anything other than that dagger?
It looks like he's wearing like his like cloth, like priestly robes, and this dagger he's clutching, and that's it.
I'm going to pull the moderate bottled lightning, which I can't drag and drop on him. I'm going to give him all of the bottled lightnings I have on my sheet. I'm going to pass over. This is going to get real shitty real quick. You up for it?
He nods. Like, I'm in it.
Excellent.
And I'll go ahead and add those bottled lightnings to his inventory.
Hal, there you are. Are we ready for killing then?
Killing some. I mean, this poor little man, he's more frail than you, Refugio. But I think Saruk's talked to him a little bit, so he's expecting us down here. And I mean, he's a little bit out of his mind, so go easy on him.
All right. After you, Annie, and I'll help Annie down into the crawl space.
Oop.
I'm gonna leave Kijak adjacent to the crawl space in case. Well, now that will hurt me real bad. JK, I'm bringing Kijak in.
Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's too small of a space for Wyvern to fit in. So Wyvern's left outside on guard duty. So you guys all emerge and immediately are shown the splendor of the inside of this solid, smooth geode with this weird floating iron platform and the beauty of this space.
Does it remind you of anything, Anita?
I'm just wondering if it echoes. Is there an echo?
There's a bit of an echo. It's also very much like you don't hear a lot of sound on the outside coming in. It seems very like isolated here. It's almost like a sensory deprivation chamber in many ways.
Hold on, this is Anita, Ulysses, Kieran, Mendoza.
It's too quiet. It's a little bit too much for me.
Still not a cradle.
Kosowana comes over and shakes your hand.
Oh, hello.
Nice to meet you. I gotta ask, and you can see there's like a little bit of judgment in his voice. He's like, I have to know, like, how on earth did you solve my puzzles? He's like you're not from Bry. You don't know about our regulations, 227.
You don't exactly pick up after yourself, man.
I left a trail so everyone would know my good deeds that I'm up to.
Then you know how we solved it. Because you left a trail.
I mean, there's an intellectual bar to get over for the puzzles I left.
Slow blanks.
Which one of you is the brains?
That'd be me.
If the brains were all unplugged, filled with too much chocolate and booze, and then given a loaded firearm, yes.
He immediately comes over to you and he's like, and have you already unearthed and reverse engineered this pyronite formula? I was telling your buddy over there how easy it is, right?
Oh yeah, like taking candy from a baby.
You can see him like kind of like sizing you up and down and like side-eyeing and realizing he's being like played with, which he does not appreciate.
Reffy thinks he's funny. It's the trauma. Don't worry about it.
Anita hears the brains. She was actually really touched by Bri. You couldn't tell. So.
All right. So we need a plan, right?
We do.
You're the plan maker. He turns to Anita. What's our plan?
Well, what's our judgment on him, Saruk? Is he good? Is he bad?
He's coming back with us.
Now, what was he trying to do? What are we trying to do in here?
You ever heard the phrase an eye for an eye, Reffy? Sometimes when you get really low, you can do things that you might not want to do to get that eye. And then he didn't do that because he thought better of it.
Should wear a helmet. Hard to get to the eyes.
He's not wrong.
All right.
He looks like he's gonna say something, and then as Saruk sort of talks in, he doesn't say what he's gonna say.
I mean, couldn't it be something as stupid as like going back in time to kill someone, right? Because if you're going back in time, why not just go back in time to prevent them from being born?
Like prevent their mom and dad from like actually doing it.
You must prevent the tolling
Yeah,
of the dog.
If I was, you could go back and kill the parents, but then that might alter the flow. So how do you prevent someone from being born? Like,
We prevent it by having this discussion any farther. How in Majagwa's name are we going to kill a Hound of Tindalos? Focus, please, all of you. Snap, snap, snap.
You've been here before us, so have you noticed anything about this creature? Right now, I know that the minute we get out of here, he's just gonna pop up. Because outside, it's a huge hexagon with a whole lot of like angles. And he could pop in and out. So how could we get him in here? We'd have more of a chance of defeating him.
I mean, he didn't affect me before. He was chasing me through the halls of this place, and I must say I am a bit one of Bry's chosen, so to speak. And he like pushes the glasses up on his nose, and she would protect me from his effects. I mean, I made it here, didn't I? She guided me to this chamber.
You make eye contact with them?
It was almost as if the world was a bit blurry at the time. Like, I knew he was there. I could see the presence, but no, it didn't affect me.
Must be nice. Do you know of any way out of here that isn't the front door?
I mean, I came in the front door, parked my ride, so we just got to get back to my ride. It's probably big enough we could all fit on.
Okay, so I have really bad news. When you leave a clockwork, it tried to hurt us.
Those damn priests of Bry, they destroyed it.
No, they... Look, I'll reimburse you. We can worry about this later. Again, focus, please. You guys are smart. How do we do this?
Wait, so okay, I guess step one, just get out. We can deal with.
All right, so why was it blurry? Is it because you have glasses on and then you weren't wearing them when you saw him? Because we've been through the depths of this cradle, this temple, and we've been attacked by this time dog a couple of times already. Regardless if we were touched by Bry or not.
I mean, no matter what struck at me, no wounds were left. I assume because I was so important to her.
It is reasonable to assume at this point that either Yog-Sothoth saw fit to guide you here so you could do something terrible, or how badly do you see with your glasses off?
Oh, these are just readers.
Okay, so no way out but the front door. We're not going to get to the front door from
He
back here.
genuinely believes that he was blessed by Bry, and she is the reason that nothing could hurt him as he wandered through this place.
Even after being shown the... Damn it, Kosowana.
Problem solved, I mean, Kosowana walks out the front door. We follow. Easy enough.
Just glares at Refi. We're not going to get out without having to fight it. How do we fight it? I pull the single smoke stick I have left. Anybody else?
I don't have a lot anymore. And the book that we found, the only thing that mentioned any of its weaknesses are the angles. Like, if you could take away its mobility, then maybe it would help us a little bit because it just pops in and out.
If we could...
Go ahead.
We could either book it back to the chamber where Droxolos entombed himself, or... How about those quartz on the wall? Were those making sufficient angles for a Hound of Tintalos to do terrible things at us?
Seems to be probably an area that you're pretty well protected from him.
And if we fight it, we fight him from back here.
I mean, you saw the sunlight coming down from the area up on that roof in that hallway, the causeway of quartz or whatever you'll call it. I mean, perhaps we can go over there and give somebody a boost, or climb up myself, and maybe we can dig a little place out and come out the top.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think we're stepping out of this chamber without meeting our friend again, though.
Yeah, because I am out of resources. I don't have any smoke sticks anymore, and I just checked Wybert's bum. There's nothing in there as well.
Kosowana, does this chamber seal from inside?
The only way in or out is this crawl space that you guys are using, and so, you know, it's not really a lock secure sort of thing. It's just sort of like you move the movable floorboard and then crawl in and seal it behind you. But there's no lock. It's just like perfectly flush with the ground, and this trench that's sort of been dug out where people can kind of crawl into the space. So it's not super secure in that sense.
So step one, we hold up here for long enough for Anita to get her reagents together. If the Hound wants to come at us, there's only one entry point, and once it gets in here, I think a circle with my hands, this is our home turf, and we want to be here.
Mm-hmm. Also, we know that it sees us with the ever-burning torches. Now that we want it gone, are we still opposed to just, like, breaking the torches?
Anita, you can steal your heart's content.
No, just
Cannot
break
believe I'm
it.
saying that. Could do. I think if you go out and just run, break, and hope we make it.
That's what I said. Kosowana, with his protection, takes the lead, and we follow.
Refi, you're not that stupid.
I said I'm the brains, right?
You never change, my friend.
But, I got 2 smoke sticks left.
Yeah, I got 2.
I have 1.
Each of us get one.
All right, so you've got the formula then, right? I mean, that's why we're protecting him, right? Why we're bringing him back.
He's like, I got it up here, kiddo. Try and back up my workshop, but your friend said we could take care of that problem. You get back.
We have a mutual enemy.
I'm trying to think of other weaknesses it has. So when we tried to Ruffy and Halbrand, when you try to shoot it or hit it, did it affect it at all?
So I think what we know right now is we need to get it. And Steve, you can correct me. Or rather, Steve, what do we know about this thing right now in terms of weaknesses and resistances and such?
I think I'll have Kosowana kind of pipe in and help give what he knows from his perspective too. But like, essentially, most of its defenses come from being against like angles, like 90-degree angles or more acute angles. So if it's adjacent to like a wall or where the floor meets the ceiling, something to that effect, it gets a boost to its sort of defenses. It's able to bend space and time around itself to cause your attacks to be hard to hit, to be resistant to the damage you're dealing. But if you can isolate it, separate it, so it's not adjacent to a wall in some way, physically moving it such, it loses that sort of protection it has, and that's when it's most vulnerable. So the plan from Kosowana's perspective would be find a way to move it, and then that's when you hit it when it's weakest.
Think you can pull that off, Hal?
I'll give him the best shot.
Choco, I'll pull out I have an unusual crystal and an unusual ring in my inventory. I present them to Kosowana. Do you know what these are?
Let's see. He will attempt to so the unusual crystal, he immediately knows what it is. So I'll go ahead and identify that, and he's like, "Oh, that's an Aeon stone. It's my I had one back in my workshop. It's a clear quartz octagon. Can be used to like repair things and cast the
Saruk just
mending."
holds his hand so he blocks the clear quartz octagon Aeon stone just floating around his head.
Yeah. So it's basically another one of those. And then the other thing, he takes a look. I'll have him make a check at least to see if he can identify it.
I suppose I'll clue him in.
Okay. Clue in bonus. He is not. He takes a look at it, but he's not able to piece it. It's like very interesting. But he's not able to figure out what this thing is.
Okay, fine. So we have smoke sticks. We use Hal's ability to move people about to keep the dog off the walls.
And I stab him in the eye.
Yes, that would be quite. Does he look like he can actually like use the dagger?
The way he's holding it and the way that he seems to be like banding it about. I mean, he's no warrior, but he can handle himself with a dagger.
Fair enough.
He does have the ability to cast. He says he has the ability to cast some spells, but seems to be in the last few minutes that you've spent with him, no sign that seems to be functioning.
Saruk, could I get you off to the side real quick?
Sure. I can't. Ask me in public.
All right. Well, you know how the time dog wants Kosowana dead?
Correct.
What? Yes, he wants you dead. He actually wants your head. And so I was thinking, what if we tell the time dog, you, because you're more persuasive, that, Kosowana put up a fight and, he's a really strong fella, but now we have him incapacitated inside this dome, but we can't bring him out because, the rest of us is also trying to, treat our wounds. You're the only one that survived. Maybe Ruffy could put in a punch on you so that you're all bloody when you meet the time dog, and then he comes in, he's all like, all right, let me go ahead and pick up this Kosowana fellow. And then when you and the time dog come inside this circle thing, we come in an ambush.
It's worth a shot.
Right?
I punched Rook in the face.
I
Yeah.
raise my shield. Or I lean so you punch the tusk.
Like, just tell him that he put up a fight, like he was set up for an ambush. There was an explosion that killed like 3 of us. You're the only one that survived.
So out of character. I assume that falls well outside all of the too many tenants that are stable to Saruk. Yeah, I could be wrong.
I don't know what
I
are
defer
your
to you.
tenants right now.
So this has just become an alignment discussion. Let me just adjust.
Your official alignment is currently chaotic good.
Let me grab the causes. As a liberator, I must respect the choices others make of their own lives and can't force someone to act a particular way without them if they don't. I must demand and fight for others' freedom to make their own decisions. You may never engage or countenance slavery or tyranny. Additionally, tenants are good. Never knowingly harm an innocent. Kosowana is questionable AF. Or allow immediate harm to one through inaction, so stay on Refi forever. The tenant doesn't force you to take action against blah, 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 blah. And then so far as Kazutal is concerned...
Yeah, there's so many like different different angles to this, right?
Yeah.
Play a paladin in Alkenstar. What can go wrong?
I'm having a blast. What can go wrong is you, sir.
So defend your people, provide for those who need you, oppose those who unjustly lord power over others. Demonstrate devotion to the things you love, and your anathema is: don't own a slave, don't force a creature to act against its will, don't refuse to give aid to an ally, or don't enforce an unjust law. All that being said, I don't hear anything. Seems to
Don't lie to doggos.
Yeah, there's nothing about like forcing to tell the truth or being deceptive. Like that all seems to gel with how I'm reading your deity, like. And class restrictions, so then it just becomes a role play choice for you and Saruk.
Okay, so then I still got this Hounded Tindalos lore that I have floating around. Can I recall knowledge with it to see if this is viable at all?
Sure.
Alrighty. Here goes the worst blind roll.
Rick, is your hand up for a question?
Yes. So in the hallway, you said there was some light streaming through the ceiling. And you also said that this thing came to a point up high, this thing we're in.
So the chamber you're in is like 80 feet up. Yeah, and then where the quartz crystals are in the more natural space, I said there was like a little bit of like open air, maybe like 50 feet up.
So Hal's going to think, hey, if we can get to the top of this thing and break it, we could potentially break out of here and not have to run back through the hallway.
Sure, but then it pops out of the wall somewhere and looks at us, and suddenly we're cut up and dead.
In here, in this round circle, it's not going to jump into nothing. I mean, if we climb up here, and he points up there, and this guy here, like, blows it up with his, and he pokes his head with his pyronite knowledge, like that would blow the roof off of this place, literally. And then we could just, perhaps get up there and climb out the top and not have to go back through this place. That's something you think is doable while y'all discuss whatever it is y'all are talking about?
I glance at Anita. You're the expert here.
I mean, I'll say like with the layout and the way that the room is sort of described and stuff, like the chamber you're in with like where it's designed and it's like an actual manufactured part of the temple, like especially where the top of the sphere is, the ceiling to there is just closed, right? It's 30-40 feet above the sphere. There's no getting on top of this and getting to safety. But if you were to get on top of this, you're not far from the wall, which is then a short climb over to where it is. So it's not like you can stand on this and get to freedom, but you can stand on this and be halfway or most of the way to freedom, but you have to find a way to like climb on the wall and then back out into that chamber and then up. So it's a very physical, demanding activity, but it's definitely a way out of here.
It's worth a shot if you guys can engineer it. We can use the sound of the explosion inside here to make the lie more believable.
So we're planning on fighting time doggo then.
The way I see it.
Annie, come here for a second.
I will say too, like the quartz crystal wall provides an ample, decent foothold for even the most like average person could potentially climb up it.
And I take off the helm, thunder helm, and I put it on Annie's head. This should help you with possibly not seeing eye to eye with that dog.
So with your Hound of Tindalos lore check, Saruk, I would say if anything, it's hard to know. Like you're talking about deceiving a creature with a mind that's beyond our world, and you're unsure one way or another with strong opinion whether this will work. You come up with a blank. It might work, it might not. It might be able to see through your deception. It might fall for it just because, it wouldn't expect something so simple. In short, you come up with no discernible, actionable information on that recall knowledge check.
The plan is too stupid to fail.
Would you say climb out? I mean, are you talking climb out of this thing on the outside and then you head this way? Or are you talking about climb the other way? I didn't follow the direction on what you were talking about there, Steve.
There is like openings, open air openings above this natural cavern, like over here, like where the quartz wall is, kind of above the quartz wall. So if you were to climb up the quartz wall, which is solid, the full like 50 feet to the ceiling, you could potentially get up and out and on top of the cliffs where this cradle exists. But the other direction is just solid wall in an 80-foot chamber that kind of goes up into a point. It's like you're inside what looks like a quartz crystal. This chamber was carved to look like the inside of a quartz crystal. There's no openings within the actual proper chamber.
I'm going to look towards Nita and say, I didn't think that was going to blow up.
Kosowana, are you carrying any explosives right now?
Kosowana, the only thing he has on him is his dagger and the potions you gave him. He pulls out a couple of swirling lightning potions.
So Operation Pyronite is dead in the water then.
Right now, the only explosive I have is, oddly enough, Lycerium. And I have one vial of it. I could, if I'm able to rest, I could make some more of it.
I think at that point, if we're 8 hours later, I think we should use what you're making to plan on when the Hound attacks us. Even if we blow a hole in the ceiling, there's still a point where we're out of here over where things are going to go sideways. We can, if you guys really want to try it, then I'll support it, but I don't think it's going to work out the way we envision it.
I mean, we can always try. I'll go up there. I mean, y'all can stay here. I'll climb up the wall, see if I can get myself through, see if there's any handholds. Need your rope, and I'll point you to Terreficule or Saruk, whoever has a rope, obvious.
You going back outside?
Yeah, I mean, what is he going to do? We're still looking for this thing, or we're still looking for this guy. Like, I can head out, climb up this quartz wall, and see what happens. If he happens to attack me, I can just jump in the hole again, close my eyes, and crawl here as fast as I can.
All right. Good luck.
All right.
Just a reminder that those eyes of that dog weren't the only attacks it had.
No, but those are the ones that hurt the most. We can deal with things biting at us.
All right, Hal. Be safe.
And I think I'll grab the rope and start to head back out and dutifully head towards the crystal wall.
Now, is this all? Are you like skulking around in the?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to sneak in the dark as through the crawl space. I'm not sure how much light is out in this area. I imagine there's some light here, but
So like in this chamber, right? There are these hexagonal quartz lamps all around the chamber, which is tied to not only light but vision of this creature. But once you get out to like over here where the quartz wall is, it's back to being pretty dim lit.
yeah. So I think I'm just gonna crawl out of the space, feet, head down, hot pulled low, and just walk over to the quartz. Start crawling up it.
Give me so this would probably be a sort of like almost like a recall knowledge survival, just as you assess, looking at the situation, how hard you think it might be for, you know, an untrained person to accomplish. For you, looking at it, it looks like something you could handle without breaking much of a sweat.
25.
So in game terms, I would say climbing this wall is probably like a DC 10 check. Like it's a climbing check, DC 10. It's designed in a way to be, not designed, but it is built in a way that it wouldn't be that hard for people to find handholds, footholds, and go up. But knowing how fast you move with like checks, right? You can move half your speed on a success climbing, and this is 40 feet tall. And then the hard part is once, as you get closer to the top, the quartz crystals sort of thin out, and there's about at least a solid 5 feet of like free climbing to get to the roof. Having something like a rope hanging down would go a long way in helping a person to get it.
That's why Hal took 2 ropes.
Yeah, so it is definitely something that is doable. I think with your assessment being, if you guys were forced, if you were caught in a bad situation and forced to fight while you're on the wall, it's gonna put you guys in a terrible disadvantage. But it is a way out.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can climb it first, and just I'm looking. So you tell me, did I make it my way out? And I'm looking up at the wall and saying, "Oh, I'm not sure Kosowana can make this, and if that dog comes, and maybe."
Yeah, there is sort of like this like echoey dark tendrils voice kind of pushes its way into your head as you're looking up, and you hear the like, "What are you doing?" And you hear the Hound of Tyndalos in your head, Hal.
Just looking for an escape route once we find this guy and tries to blow us up or blow something up. You got to be able to get out. I mean, unless you could say we can go out the front door.
You are free to leave the front door after you bring him to me.
All right. So do I have to bring him to you, or can I like lead you to him once we find him?
You can feel like the voice like kind of probing in and out of your head. Just lead me to him. I will do the work.
Okay. And I'll kind of nod into the darkness, not knowing where this dog might be. Maybe I'm looking at one of the lamps and be like, okay. And then I'll head back into the chamber.
Yeah, you never saw him, you just heard his voice in your head. If you want to give me an active perception check, you can look around and see if you can see where he might be. Okay.
Now I'm just assuming because Sabruk broke that lamp one time that he jumped out of the wall there. So I'm gonna look at the lamp and be like, nod. Yeah, okay, I hear you. And crawl back into the hole and say, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to make it up to the top with and look at Kosowana and maybe back at Anita. It's going to be quite a climb, but I did talk to the time dog, and he said, lead me to Kosowana and he'll take care of the rest. So we have an option to now bring him here. If that's something you think is to our advantage or a more advantageous position, as it were.
Do we still have time to get our shit together?
I mean, I didn't tell him I'd be back in a minute. I just said, okay.
All right. Kijak, I think it would be better if you left. No. Unmanifest me Eidolon. And there is 0 chance in hell of Wybert getting in here, huh?
Mm-hmm. Should ask too.
Yeah, the like the tunnel is built where like even like a medium-sized like creature is like squeezing to get in, basically. So
it is like the entry square like this one.
It's like a, yeah, basically right on the north side. It's like the tile is removed, so it's like you crawl down and then in and then back up and out. There's just a hollow square where you can kind of get to this access tunnel.
Well, 2 choices. Option 1, we wait 8 hours, hope our esteemed host will allow us to. Anita, you make enough shit to blow this place to kingdom come. We lure it in here and then kick its ass. Option 2, we kick its ass right now.
Don't feel comfortable kicking its ass right now because there's not a lot for me to do. I only have blight bombs and maybe like a thunderstone. Heck, I only have like 2 elixirs, and if it only took like 2 of its attacks to almost kill one of us, I don't know if I would have enough to make sure that people are up to at least try and take it down.
Okay, then we dig in.
I mean, yeah, the good news being Kosowana has managed to stay here at least he got like a few day head start on you guys, so seems to be a pretty safe place that the hound can't at least teleport in and out of. It doesn't seem to want to come in this circular chamber, so as long as you guys camp out, you're free to camp out another night, build everything, set Anita to work and start building everything she needs to make for the next day, and refresh your reagents and take another rest for the night here. That's fine. I mean, there's really not much pressure sensitivity time to do, so I'm cool with that.
I think while we wait, do you think one of y'all can craft me, or at least come up with a slick design for like a collar and a leash, because I don't want to, the dog, maybe I can lead him down here. You know what I mean?
Sir just looks at you like you've lost your damn mind. It's a sentient being. I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Reffy, you're not going to say anything smart-assy? Not at all?
I think I'll leave this one alone.
I'm so proud of you. Rolls eyes. I very much doubt a Hound of Tindalos will let you collar it.
I'm going to lead it, and I don't want to look at it. I mean, you don't have to. I can try to fashion it myself, and perhaps I can get lucky and lasso it up and pull it into this room if it doesn't want to come in.
I mean, now I see what you mean. Okay, I thought you were just being weird.
I have an extra rope. It's like 50 feet. Let me see.
I mean, even if I just tell it to hold its mouth and I can lead it to, I mean, who knows? Perhaps you can fashion it and he just follows me in here, and when they step into this room, I can try to pull it out and, I can try to lasso it and pull it from the small crawl hole we came through. That's all I'm thinking.
Or maybe.
Y'all are better at that, tying knots and creating stuff, and I pointed to Anita and being, clockworky and click clack, ding dong.
Like a trap.
Yes, like a trap.
I'll see what I can do, because technically I can craft, but I need 4 days.
I mean, perhaps what I'm looking is like, make me a good slip knot. That's all. At the end of this rope.
All right.
That's it.
I can do
it.
I could do that.
You're much better at that than I am.
Yeah, I could do that for you. No problem. All right, so if we stay in it and then we've gotten rid of all the angles that it needs, do we still need smoke sticks for this fight, or should I just create stuff that goes boom?
Do we, Steve?
Yes. The wall provides protection. It's a defensive measure, so it's able to warp space and time around it to kind of allow the angles to give it the damage resistance it has. But none of the gaze and all of that is not tied to the angular of the wall. That's just the defensive abilities it has.
I wish there was a way for me to craft like a pair of glasses that would give us item boosts, but a day isn't enough for that.
So interesting thing. I'm flipping through the stuff that we have. We have 3 doses of hunting spider venom. I know it's the probability of the sticking on it is probably abysmal, but I feel like this is a pull everything out the party loot right goddamn now kind of thing. So I'm thinking we might put a dose on like Hal's sword, one of my ballista bolts, and like a bullet from Reffy. Thoughts?
I'm down. But those are not my items. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the parting loot. Yeah. I don't remember where. I think we got them from.
Where is the party loot?
It's probably on the ship.
Is it?
Thought it's in Wybert's bum.
God, where is our hunting spider venom?
Wybert's bum does have an inventory, but like I think all of your, party loot stuff is back at the ship. It's not something you guys took with you when you left on your adventure.
A single minor elixir of life, which I'm going to grab. Question mark. I feel like if we go out, then the claws of time are gonna. Just a minute. Hang on. Opens trunk of car. Grabs potion. It's being real shitty. We'll get right with you. Goes back.
I mean, Wybert is kind of standing right over the hole, so you can pretty much just like kind of like reach up and get in his bum without
is an
leaving.
Yeah, like his
that I despise.
butt.
Wybert, squat down here.
I'm just gonna drag this potion to my inventory. We're not gonna worry about it.
At the same time, the hunting spider venom is so tiny, like I'll allow you guys to pull that and add that to your inventory right now. Just say like retroactively you've been carrying it around. That sounds cool. Like let's not let the consumables go to waste, right?
Remember that part where I said you're a really good GM? Let me say it again. You're a really good GM.
So yeah, someone can take this hunting spider venom. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Oh, you know where you got it was on. It was on. Wait, what?
The powder cake punks? Didn't it come from?
No, the hunting spider venom came off of Lucky, the guy that was sabotaging you on the airship. He had it on him.
Not so lucky.
Yeah, the not so lucky links.
So if Hal and Reffy want to grab one of those hunting spider venoms.
So at the same time, I think the biggest thing with this sort of rest going for the night and building this up is like Anita's got to choose what to spend all of her daily rate.
I know, I have to think.
So we have fucking all the smoke sticks we're carrying are gonna expire.
All the smoke stuff he has are going to expire, and then Anita will craft more with her daily prep at least.
How many and if I'm playing your character for you, throw something at my face and I'll shut up. But how many reagents do you have right now?
6.
I speak Spanish. So you have 6.
And each reagent can make 2 items, right? You can make 2 smoke sticks with 1 reagent.
A smoke stick lasts for a minute. I do think this will probably be resolved one way or another in fucking 10 rounds. So I feel like and smoke stick. Then what's the biggest explosive you have in your formula book right now?
Right now, and I don't know why Anita has this, but her strongest one is the Lycerium.
I mean, you probably got the formula from Shoma. Yeah, it's the trauma. That's why you have it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was in
print
Shoma's
it?
formula book.
Yeah.
Just so I can read it.
Yeah. Alchemist Fire. Lycerium is a combination of volatile liquids that ignite when exposed to air. It deals only 2d8 fire damage, 2 persistent, and 2 fire splash. I gain a +1 item bonus to attack rolls.
Yeah, that's the biggest explosive thing you can create. You don't have like.
Oh, wait. Oh, bottled lightning. Yeah, right now that is the biggest explosive that I can create.
So I feel like, and the biggest healing is minor elixirs of life. Is that right? Or did we buy these? I think I might have bought these.
I mean, while y'all are looking through all those ingredients, I mean, perhaps this guy, and he points to Kosowana, can make something go big boom. Like, I'm gonna look at him and say, "Can you like make something that really goes big with all this stuff that they have piled right here?"
I would love a grenade bouquet just in the passageway that falls on this thing's head.
Yeah, so I guess the real question is like what sort of ingredients do we have? I know like Anita's got the sort of reagents and the daily stuff, but that's really tied to like it's not like it's like she's throwing together things, like making something out of nothing, right? It's like her specific formulas and things like that. If you have a proper setup with actual things, then Kosowana could even particularly like whip up potentially like Pyronite or something, but you would need
4
to
days
have
later.
like
Yeah.
well, I mean, not according to the new treasure vault crafting rules, consumables. It's
Oh, really?
3 or 2 days later.
It can go down more depending on the item, but the Pyronite is not a simple thing, so it's not going to be made that fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he has the ability in this space with what you have to craft something as powerful as Pyronite. No.
Yeah, that's the strongest I could do is the moderate Lycerium. I also have, the formula for Pyronite. It's just my lab used to be in Wybert's bum, but we had to make space, so now it's in the airship.
Yeah. And the biggest heal you can make is what?
Mm-hmm.
The minor elixirs at the moment.
Got it.
Yeah,
Sure.
and Anita's advanced alchemy level is only like level 3, so the items that she can make on the fly is not quite as high as your class level.
Right. So you got 6 things you can make at the end of the rest, and then a bunch that you can make as the adventuring day goes on, right?
What do you mean?
I forget how Alchemist in Tui is a thing I haven't played yet. I know you have things that you make in a given day and then things you can make for an action.
Oh, for a quick alchemy, I would still need like reagents for that. However, like if I spend everything for just the day, then I won't be able to use my quick alchemy. So what I've been doing lately is I've been doing half and half. Half would be for my daily prep and then half for whatever I need during a fight or during the day.
Makes sense. So what
The
about
benefit being anything you do up front at the beginning of the day, you make them in pairs, so you make twice as much.
Mhm.
And if you do it in the moment as an action, you can only make one for the raid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the trade-off.
Got it. So then 1 makes 2 in this calculus. That makes it a little easier.
Right.
So 4 equals 2. Brain equals hurt. Heck, hard math. So
I'm good
that's
at math. That one I can
2,
help you with.
4, 5. So okay, what I propose is
Okay.
using this is what you make. So all of that is cut in half. You use 1 reagent for 2 smoke sticks, then 2 for 4 of healing potions and laserium, and then you leave everything else for on the fly, depending on how pear-shaped this goes. You have 3 remaining, right?
No, just 1. I would have 1 because for the elixir.
Yeah, because with that, I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. So then 2, 2, 2, and then
Mhm.
leave the others to go on the fly.
Mhm. I mean, I could start off with.
Let me ask you this, right? Because like this is a lot of like bookkeeping and math and stuff. Do we want to just like fade out the episode here as you guys are figuring it out, and then you guys have the whole week to figure it out?
Yeah.
And we can come back next episode with
That might be
you
a good
guys, and
idea.
you can just inform us on what decision you guys is making. Then when you have a week of real time to plan your strategy.
What do you mean you don't want us to just no? What do you mean you don't want us to be anxious and pound our heads into the desk until we come up with an answer? That's how you do all the things in life.
We can sit here for an hour and just talk about like all the minute things, but I think this is a good time to sort of
Concur, I do.
end the episode for the night and let you guys figure it out with less pressure, I guess, and figure out your plan.
I missed my single glue bullet. That would have been really helpful right now.
Yep. Based on how everything went is planning to go, it looks like you guys are planning for a throwdown. So next week is going to be a very tense episode that you're not going to want to miss, right? Because we're going to pet the doggo. Hal's going to pet the doggo.
I was gonna collar the
I'm
dog.
gonna try.
Literally.
I do like the idea of sort of letting Anita like craft the rope into something that I'm thinking of allowing you to sort of put the slip knot on the rope and allowing you to use the rope as part of the grapple with like an item bonus or something like that. Like I'll think about how I want it to work, but
It's the most cowboy ass thing.
yeah, it's creative and it fits the theme of the thing, and I like that. So I want to, even though there's no official way to do that, I still think it's really cool visual, and I'd like to see it. So we're gonna it's gonna be like you're gonna wrangle it, and then Refi's gonna bull ride it, like bull surf it around the Cradle of Quartz, and that's the last image before it TPKs you.
And then Refi will die, and Richard will have deserved that.
So, I mean, if you're at home and you're keeping track of the score here, this Cradle of Quartz is a TPK monster. A lot of campaigns end here. So next week, we're going to embrace the madness and the chaos. We're We're going for it. We're gonna freaking go for it, and I can't wait to see what happens. And I hope you guys come up with a cool plan. And it seems like you guys got some good strategies. But for this week, we're gonna fade out as the camera sort of leaves, like Saruk and Anita and Kosowana sort of putting their collective heads together to come up with a plan to get you guys out of here. You know, knowing really the there's two plans, right? It's either kill this thing or just survive long enough to escape the cradle itself. So yes, that's where we're gonna find out what happens next week. So yeah, I guess that's the last thing we see. I don't know what else to say. Come back next week and see a potential TPK.
We're not intense. We're in Cradle, Nina. Jeez.
But that's gonna do it for us this week. This week in Alkenstar. Big thanks to Nina, Richard, Ricardo, Tommy for playing. Even though it's been a month. Oh my god, I can't believe it. And we played a whole month. We still didn't fight a time doggo. Ooh, you came up with a plan to fight the time. It's been a real fun session with you guys. But before we go, you know, we can't sign off without giving a huge shout out to all of our patrons who support us on Patreon. You guys are the real heroes here that allow us to do all of this. Let me bring up the Patreon screen. The names are a little bit off-centered. They changed. I updated it, so I'll wait for the list to start all over again. But huge shout out to all the patrons who support us. Give us a look at patreon.com/recallknowledge. You can get behind the scenes look at some of the upcoming episodes, early releases of the episodes before they hit YouTube. And your support just goes a really long way into funding everything we want to do on this channel and giving us the strength and energy to do it. You guys are awesome. So the list is about to come around the top. I'm going to go ahead and read the names again. Thank you to David Sims, Sandra Wagner, Jason Irvin, Sam Skaggs, Jay, Ellie Boyle, Paul G, Anish Herman, Michael Boggs, Alejandro Porras, J. Michael Spencer, Percy's 13, and David Morrison. You guys,
wow.
Big thanks to all of you.
Those names on Patreon keep getting bigger the longer.
I know.
We love to see it.
It is growing. It is nice. And you know, we got a new map pack up this week that we posted earlier that Rick did some maps for cool maps you can add. So if you're subscribing to our Patreon, not only do you get access to these cool episodes early before they hit YouTube, you can also get some cool maps to add to your game. Big thanks again, Molten Hosting, for sponsoring our show, making it so easy and letting us all be inside of you. Use that referral code Recall Knowledge.
One word.
It's one word.
One word.
Red.
It's one word, everyone. And you get your first month completely free. Check them out at moltenhosting.com. Actually, kind of a small aside, like Foundry is coming up on its 3-year anniversary, and they're doing a Foundry Con, which is an online event coming up in April to like celebrate everything Foundry. And Molten Hosting is one of the sponsors of Foundry Con, and they're giving 2 months of free hosting to any GM that runs a game at that event. So Molten Hosting is just a big booster in the community, and so, you know, give them all the love.
They're so hot.
They're not cold.
Game, Steve?
My script says we'll be off next week, but back on Wednesday, February 15th. We're gonna be on next week, as far as I know, which is March 15th, not February 15th. At
Kosowana done went and fucked up the schedule. Damn it!
They killed our baby. Fuck them.
My baby.
We're gonna finish off the Cradle of Quartz and face down a time doggo and close the chapter on this book of our adventure one way or another. So come back and watch it. Until then, stay safe. Oh, you know what? Before we go, Tommy, what you got going on?
Links. My name is Tommy. When I'm not simping on Molten Hosting, I do things on YouTube called Black Dragon Gaming. I've taken a few weeks off lately, so much so that my friends have been checking in on me. Like, hey, you're not dead, right? But I'm just trying to figure out how to set up my space and find the line between like what fills this when I make content and what YouTube algorithm likes. So there hasn't been anything new lately, and there will be in like a couple of weeks-ish. But if you like builds, if you like lore, if you like professionally run games by yours truly, if you like a bunch of Google Sheets about stuff, if you like nerd shit for Pathfinder, there's all the links where you can find me. I point to my monitor as if you can see.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that was announced in the Pathfinder world. That we're going to a new continent. next year. We're getting, like,
I'm
2 source
literally
books.
I'm running Jade Regent right now, which is the first edition adventure path that takes place on that continent. I'm so fucking hype for that lore to be rewritten, so I can have better shit to work with as we go there. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, if it's anything like the Mwangi Expanse book, like I'm all in on that, right? It's gonna be really cool. And you know, you look at like some of this content put up by Wizards of the Coast, and it's like, you know, they hire a few like people to do it, but there was like 40 people working on this book of like, you know, Asian descent, and like Paizo's really going out and making it authentic, which I love to see. So thank you, Paizo, for you know, giving us some good content. That's really cool. And also, like next month, isn't there like a Firebrands book coming out?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
some
I'm really
Firebrands
excited for that
lore.
too. 'Cause I'm playing
Firebrands. They're kind of like piratey people, right?
Yeah, it takes place in, so there's like a pirate setting. Like here we are, here's pirate land, and then pirate land changes a bunch, and they rewrote that a lot too. And I'm really excited for that because I'm also running in pirate land right now, and I've been using like, hey guys, Lost Omens Mwangi Expanse. This is the continent this takes place in. Read up on this, and now I have another book to throw at my 1E nerds and be like, read up on this. This is what we are using. It's
All that said, you've taken a few weeks off to settle in, but there's a ton of content on the horizon coming.
yeah.
It's all going to be really cool.
And I will be called to serve once again.
So we'll see you guys next week. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye, everyone.
The dingo ate your baby.
Dong dong dong.